Get the Friendo Club set up today and get access to over 700 Going in Raw bonus episodes, our monthly Big Blue predictions challenges, and the ability to ask questions at Going in Raw. We also offer the Steven Larson comic book and exclusive Friendo Club t-shirt. Just hit join here at youtube.com/Steven Larson or go to patreon.com/Steven Larson to sign up. Hey, friendos, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
Welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. Of course, this weekend we've got Wrestledream coming up. We'll be doing our live reactions and review to that.
Yeah.
Also, on today's episode, meanwhile, on this Wednesday, we're going to be covering both AEW and NXT, and we've even got some news, a loaded episode later on today. We're going to have our Wrestledream predictions. What a wild card this has been, a weird build we're going to talk about.
Weird is a way of putting it.
The weird build to Wrestledream. Man, oh man, already controversy here in the YouTube chat. Larson?
Why, what's going on over there?
Oh, man, we got Chris here saying, why the heck ain't NXT in the thumbnail? You got to be asking yourself, why the heck aren't you reviewing NXT come next year?
Yeah, that could be. Anyways, let's start with this. Before we talk NXT, AEW, any of that, we got some news about the first 2-hour edition of Monday Night Raw in, 20-some years, was it?
Oh, yeah. Since 2012? Yeah, since 12. Was that 12
so that's
years?
12 years. 12 years. Yeah, 12 years.
Feels like it's been longer than that.
Feels like it's been longer than that, like some of the 3-hour Raws in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, Fightful Select reporting that there were, in fact, some growing pains, quote-unquote, involved with Raw being cut down to 2 hours on Monday. Specifically, sources indicated there was, quote, frustration internally with the booking of the 10-woman tag match, especially with lack of creative direction for the participants, and with so much of the match taking place during a commercial break. So I saw something on social medias, said roughly half of that match, it's like 3.5 of the 7 minutes of that match took place during a commercial break.
It was really, I thought it was 9 minutes. They didn't even give it 9 minutes. It was 7 minutes.
It was 7 minutes and, 7 minutes and something other seconds. Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah. There should be frustration internally. There's a lot of frustration externally outside the company with that match, how the creative was handled for all 10 participants in that match. It wasn't, they got to do better.
All right, man. Well, I'll give you a little bit of glass half full here. On one hand, they did. Look, I'm not going to say there's any excuse for it. I really won't. I won't even going to say there's a good reason for it at all. That being said, in terms of in the macro sense, in terms of like, oh, Raw shouldn't be 2 hours. Look, I'll be the first to line up and say I was really enjoying Raw at 3 hours simply because they were giving us 3 hours of good content. And I can understand how there would be some growing pains, or I guess some transitional pains, when it comes to having to transition from a 3-hour show to a 2-hour show. You're losing 44 whatever minutes it is of content there, and to have to transition when in the first place you're not doing a great job with your women's division there anyways.
They are not.
And so it's like the women's division there, everybody you saw in that tag match has basically been booked like Pure Fusion Collection, right? They have not been booked. They take losses, they take wins. Essentially, it's what they call, the 50-50 booking thing.
50-50 booking, yep.
And everybody is sort of in that same boat. There are no legitimate challengers right now for Liv Morgan's World Heavyweight Championship.
For all these groups trying to make the claim they're the most dominant force in the Raw women's division,
none of them.
And they all trade wins and losses.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nobody's proven their case.
Right, exactly, except for the actual tag champions and Damage Control, who isn't in that mix of people saying, we're putting y'all on notice.
No.
That being said, I am willing, and look, I was as disappointed as the next guy in how, when I saw that procession of the women's division come out, I'm like, oh, what are we doing here? That being said, they were doing a double taping because they got this European vacation coming up, or not vacation, this European trip coming up.
You want to sing some Lindsey Buckingham
whoa,
there?
Whoa, whoa,
Holiday Road. Yeah.
Yeah. So look, we've got I don't know, a couple months of this before they hit Netflix running. And so I suspect, my guess is this is going to be the worst of it. But hopefully, as they say, Triple H is on his burner. Maybe he's watching what they should do. You know what? As penance here, they should put up reactions from streamers and show Alex Queen of the Ring doing this shit.
Yep.
What is this shit? Do that. Oh, we were so disappointed. But no, man, I was right there. I was disappointed as well. And yeah, hopefully next week they'll do better, man. Start building up some dominant. You got to make some sacrifices. Some people are got to lose and some people have got to win.
It just feels like there's no direction. They're going to feud for 2 months, trade a bunch of wins, and at the end, someone will come out in the last match, the winner, and proclaim themselves the most dominant force, having put the entire locker room on notice, but no one comes out of it looking any better than they were before. That's the issue, because there's a lack of direction, seemingly.
Yeah.
There seemingly is no focus on, all right, coming out of this, we want this group to look strong. We want these performers to look strong. I don't get the sense that's the case at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And without that vision, you just got this bunch of 50-50 booking, trading wins, and it just kind of feels like spinning wheels from a creative perspective. The match on Raw was fine. I mean, hats off to all 10 of the performers for putting on an entertaining match with how little they're given to work with.
Yeah.
But from the creative side of things, they just got to do way better.
They really do. I mean, the bottom line is you have to put some creative energy into it. And clearly, on one hand, I get the philosophy, well, we're trying to get them all featured. We're trying to get them on TV. And I get that. But, when you've proven that you can actually tell some pretty damn good stories across other divisions and other feuds, at that point, we want to eat a little bit better. It's not good enough. And so hopefully they'll get the hint and they'll start booking some actual stories within, 10 people in that sort of mid-card division right there. There's a lot of stuff you can do with 10 very talented performers right there. And so hopefully they'll endeavor to do that, because there is some really good stuff going on, in other aspects of the card. Yep. And yeah, hopefully they'll get there. Maggie here with the super chat says, oh God, Maggie, you're gonna make me say this. She says, it's okay. Triple H, quote, doesn't see anything except talent. So, she says, I guess everything he doesn't give an opportunity just lacks talent. And she mentions, of course, there's sarcasm there. Yeah. We never really did talk about that particular blunder at the press conference. I think anybody who's watched our show understands where we would fall on that. The idea that somebody asked them, they pointed out that it's been since 2023 since a black male talent has had a pin or submission victory on Premium Live Event. And it's been since 2023 since there's been a win. Bobby Lashley DQ victory over Brock Lesnar. Since 2022 since a black male talent, also Bobby Lashley, somebody they released recently, got a...
they didn't release.
I'm sorry, didn't release.
Contract expired.
Contract expired. Did not resign. Yeah. Sorry, my bad. Yeah. Got a pinfall or submission win on a Premium Live Event. And of course, Triple H turns to that wonderful trope we were fed back in the 80s. I don't see color, I see talent. Well, what's the insinuation there, Triple H? that the talent can't make it to, there's no, Yeah. So he needs to do better with that kind of stuff as well. Because here's the thing, Larson. If I'm not mistaken, most of the intro theme songs for their programming feature black talent.
Yep.
Black musical acts.
Yes.
And they've used acts like Metro Boomin,
Just last night in NXT, Sexy Red.
Sexy Red. You use black culture to promote your product.
Yep.
You probably want to feature some black talent in your programming. What do you think?
Exactly.
I think probly so, huh?
I think that would be a fantastic idea.
Yeah. But anyways, y'all know how we feel about that stuff. Anyways, where do you want to start now that we've talked about that?
Well, we can talk about Wrestledream. It's on the thumbnail. Mm-hmm. What the heck is going on with this? It seems like about a month ago they had a plan, just completely hit the refresh button on everything they were planning on doing. And so now, Dynamite was tough to get through last night.
Man, I'll be honest with you. Last night was one of those nights. Look, and I know a lot of people really liked NXT, and there are aspects I liked about it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the show that it was a week prior. I don't know. It was fine. I liked the venue. Well, I'll go back to AEW.
Yeah.
But yeah, AEW, look, and here's the thing. I totally understand there's some real life issues going on with this hurricane business that I think
apparently has some travel issues that led to some rewrites. Yes.
Right, exactly. And so I feel that. I understand that. It's not going to be
Absolutely.
perfect. It does seem to me though, that especially with this Mox Danielson stuff, that similar to the Nigel match, I feel like they swap some stuff to maximize, I would assume, although Meltzer, I want to get your thoughts about this now that we're kind of all over the map now. We're talking about Danielson, though.
Yeah.
Because he's the main event of Wrestledream, him and Mox.
Yes.
He said that, I'm paraphrasing here. This is a quote that I saw. I'm paraphrasing. He doesn't think that people can get too invested in the Danielson retirement angle because they've been fed that line plenty of times before. And it's sort of something that people are not going to believe. It's not like Sting, who was 65, clearly on the verge of retirement. What are your thoughts on that sentiment from Dave Meltzer?
I mean, I get it from a historical perspective. And with Danielson's case specifically, where this is an interview he gave years ago, he's like, Cody taught me how to lie. Lying is fun.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
You know, and I think within the context of pro wrestling is putting expectations out there and then subverting those expectations. And this whole time, this whole retirement tour of Danielson's, you know, every time that we hear him or someone else mention, oh, he really needs neck surgery. All right. Danielson's not above taking his real life health issues and working them into a story and, again, setting expectations and subverting them. How many times, given his history of concussions, has he been in the ring convulsing, playing off the idea that he just got concussed again during a match?
Yeah, he loves that shit.
He does that stuff. That being said, until I have a reason not to take him at his word, I'm going to take Danielson at his word in this case. That when he loses, he will be done as a full-time wrestler. He's always left the door open to wrestling again. What he's saying is, a full-time wrestler, I'm done. But like a part-time wrestler, the definition of that is somewhat nebulous in terms it could be 10 dates a year, 20 dates a year, 2. We don't know. So his retirement from full-time wrestling could be not drastically different than what he's doing now.
That right there. That I think is the key point. Because for me, I don't take anything he says seriously. I don't. I have no idea. Like the neck surgery, I don't fucking know. Because he's played into the story many. I'm not even going to say he's lied. We say that jokingly because that's a quote of his.
Yeah.
But it's all to service the story, the greater story,
Yes.
and that's great. I'm down with that. I'm not going to believe a fucking word that he says because I know that clearly he loves what he's doing. And why would he walk away from it? Oh, because he wants to see his kids, dude. This is what he does for a living. He can see his kids when he wants to see his kids. I think your point about, I don't think his wrestling schedule, full-time, part-time, whatever you want to call it, is going to be altered all that much. I just don't. I think that he's probably still going to be around for most of the pay-per-views every year, even if this whole idea of a full-time retirement is true. And I think that's part of it. When Sting was going to retire, that I firmly believed he was done. He was done. With Danielson, this dude is going to be wrestling until he's like past 65. Like he's in phenomenal shape. I think he's a vegan, isn't he? Or at least a vegetarian. I think he's one of them.
At least at one point he was vegan. Yeah, I don't know if that's still the case.
So look, he's in phenomenal shape, and I understand he wrestles a very physical style. But I don't know, man. I don't think that it has to do with, oh, we're not buying into it because we've heard it before. I'm not buying into it because they've switched up the story several times. First, Darby had the title shot at Wrestledream, and then they flipped
first
that
it's supposed
Mox.
to be a Grand Slam. Initially, it's supposed to be the title
Thank
shot
you.
at Grand Slam.
Yeah, and then Mox, not convincingly, coerced him into giving up the title shot. I was like, why would you do that? And now he's fighting Brody King on the pay-per-view. And I like Brody King, but this whole like, you're lying, you're taking it for granted. You've got that spot. That's the thinnest, the most bare bones motivation.
It's kind of double-edged sword when I'm saying this tongue in cheek. Because Darby and Brody have a long history. Obviously Darby talked about it last night in the independents, even in AEW, they feuded on and off for a while. So when people are like, "Oh, I need them to tell the story now about what's going on now," sometimes you get stuff it's kind of thin in terms of motivation and storyline. And is the promo off they had last night? Was it really necessary to amplify whatever match is going to happen at Wrestledream? I don't think so.
Dude, I've said this before, and I know nobody over there watches this show because because Darby did another Darby story. Remember back when we were in the independents and we were both broke? That's all the story is always. Just remember back when we were broke, living in our car? I remember that. And then I called Tony Khan, I was like, give this guy a job. And look, that's a sweet story, like in real life, because it probably really happened.
Yeah.
But that doesn't do anything for me. I like when that shit is told beginning, middle, and end within the context of my cable television. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know. I did appreciate that The Rock was on AEW programming last night. That was cool.
Yeah, The Rock. Yeah.
He had a rock. He had a literal rock.
Darby had a rock.
That he attacked Brody King.
Revolutionizing wrestling weapons is Darby Allin.
Rock.
I'm shocked that he didn't glue thumbtacks all over it.
Well, maybe that's what we'll get at Wrestledream.
Maybe.
You got to start basic and then work. First you got rock, then you got
rock.
Thumbtacks on it.
Thumbtack rock.
Yeah.
But up and down the card on Wrestledream, like half the card it felt like was made last night during Dynamite. For a while they were doing a pretty good job of at least setting up the 4 or 5, maybe 6 top matches for the card weeks in advance. They were doing a pretty solid job of that in AEW, and it just seems like they just decided late in the pay-per-view cycle to redo everything. And then, I don't know, I don't really feel like there's a whole lot of enthusiasm for Wrestledream.
So, like, here's the deal. You think the vibes are low for Wrestledream?
The vibes are low. This feels more like 2023 AEW.
Ooh, ouch. Ouch. Harsh.
It is harsh.
Shooting hard on it.
The build has not been good.
No, because here's the thing. You're like literally, well, if you account like last week and this week is where this card came together. Mark Briscoe, Jericho, that was last week.
Yeah.
Darby Allin, Brody King this week. Jack Perry, Shibata last week. Will Ospreay, Ricochet, Takeshita last week. Young Bucks, Private Party last week. Mariah May, Willow Nightingale this week. Hangman Adam Page, Jay White.
This week. It was made this week.
Yeah, I mean, Jay White returned last week.
Set up last week, but made this week, yes.
Evidently, we've got Maximil Models, MXM Collection versus The Acclaimed.
That's not
hasn't even happened yet.
No, that's for Rampage.
Hasn't even happened yet.
Did you mention Hologram versus Beast Mortis?
That's next on here. Hologram Beast Mortis this week. And then Danielson Moxley. That's the only one that didn't
set up it all out, yeah.
That's nuts. What's going on with that? Like, I understand. I mean, some of these things, like, wasn't like the idea that Britt was supposed to take on Mariah May.
Yeah, I think so.
What's that?
There was supposed to be a number one contender match last night that Britt was going to be involved in.
Britt versus Willow, yeah.
Yeah, and the winner of that was going to face Mariah May. Britt couldn't make it. They said she wasn't cleared. She fell ill or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know who would have been the deal there. But yeah, no, it is. It's a weird build. I mean, look, man, these matches are going to be good, but it's like, what was the last pay-per-view was, what was it?
All Out. All Out, yeah.
And that was September 7th. Okay, so that was a month ago.
Yeah, they've had more than a month to build this.
Yeah, well, you know.
And yeah, all the matches will be good, but again, it's the story leading into the matches that leads to the viewer's investment in the outcome of the match, other than I like this wrestler more than that wrestler.
I mean, when you look, I guess the point of this though is look at where people were at All Out, and was their follow through. So at All Out, you had Danielson versus Jack Perry. And it was only like last week that Jack Perry was like sulking And Shibata comes up to him and is like,
Shibata
hey.
challenges him, yeah.
So it's not like he came out of that match and was like, hey, you know, the next episode of Dynamite, he had something set.
Yeah.
You know, they started building then. Is Okada? Wait, where's Okada at Wrestledream?
Not wrestling.
What?
Nope, because it
No
seemed like
Rainmaker?
he was supposed to be him and Takeshita for the Continental title, and then they changed course on that.
They changed course on that one, yeah. 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 Mercedes Moné, where's she?
Not on the card so far.
What? She beat Ishida last time.
I mean, Chris Statlander is a face now.
That's weird. Statlander's a good guy now.
Yeah. And apparently,
really-
apparently they split Stat and Stokely because they didn't feel like there's any more stories to tell with them as a duo. I'm like, there's one story that you should tell, and is that how they're not a duo anymore?
They're split. Yeah, that's
if they're going to split them up.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know
Yeah, it just seems like all right, these are the matches we want to get at this show. Like, what do we have to do to get there? Regardless of any organic build or anything organically that's going to lead to those matches.
Yeah, why'd they do the Statlander thing? That's crazy.
I don't know.
And here's the thing.
know.
I do feel like one thing they could do if they're gonna have stuff go down on Collision, knowing that Collision is so much less viewed than Dynamite, if you're gonna have stuff that goes on there that then leads into Dynamite, clearly, unless you make Collision, and I understand it's a process, unless you make Collision must see and it starts getting those same numbers, you got to start doing some better video packaging.
You do.
You know, some recap packaging, because then it gets hype. People, oh man, stuff is happening over there in Collision.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I don't know. This is you're right. This has not been the best build. It's only come together in the last 2 weeks.
Pretty much.
So Daniel Garcia is sticking around.
That's
AEW.
good for AEW.
Let's talk about that in a second. I just realized how long we've been going here. So let's go ahead and pay some bills. We like to give our sponsors some love early in the show.
This episode of Going in Raw is sponsored by BetterHelp, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Halloween. It's almost here. Mm-hmm. And it's the time of the year where we have some fun with what scares us. But what about those fears that don't involve ghosts and ghouls? Sometimes the scariest thing is not facing your fears in the first place, but therapy is a great tool to help you face those fears and find ways to overcome them.
And if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. BetterHelp is completely online and designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited for your schedule. All you got to do to get started is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and then you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge.
I've spoken about it before, but back in my mid-20s, I was afraid of a lot of things because I was dealing with severe anxiety, so much so that I rarely left the house. Eventually, I realized that I had to go to therapy, and therapy helped me learn the skills I needed to better cope with my anxiety and allowed me to get back out into the world and not be so fearful. So overcome your fears with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/raw today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw. And let's get a word from our sponsor, DraftKings Sportsbook. TD. Tutty.
Okay.
In for 6. Touchdowns matter more at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
And regardless of how you refer to them or how they're scored, we want to bet on touchdowns. And DraftKings Sportsbook is delivering. So if you're ready to place your first bet, you can bet on something simple like choosing a player to score a touchdown. All you got to do is go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick.
Yeah, speaking of touchdowns, I'm hoping my Eagles score a few touchdowns this Sunday. Let me check. Yes, still currently favored against Cleveland this week. And while lines and odds are subject to change, I'm going to start practicing Eagles fight song so I can sing it every time the Eagles score a touchdown. Shall I sing it now, Steve?
No, we're good. We're good.
No?
Yeah, no,
All right, maybe next time.
No.
So, score big with DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Download the Sportsbook app and use code RAW. That's code RAW for new customers. Get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/FT ball. Try to have some fun with the little disclosure there at the end. You know, a little sing-song right there.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
Yeah, man.
Let's talk Daniel Garcia. He's sticking around in AEW, not joining Chase U.
Not yet, anyways. Maybe in 3 years.
3 to 5 years, depending on the length of his new deal with AEW. He tried to do the thing where he comes out and is like, oh, I'm going to leave. Made it seem that way, only to say, nah. Staying.
Mm-hmm.
So, good move for Daniel Garcia. Good move for AEW to retain his services.
And according to, I believe it was Fightful Select, he's slated to be heavily featured in their creative coming up shortly. Maybe he'll be the guy to take that title off. Scapegoat!
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah. I mean, look, man, it's something that he seems like this is something that he's interested in. They got rid of the dancing Tron last night, much to my dismay, because I actually like the dancing Tron.
But you don't really care for him dancing, like just kind of as
weird, right?
Yeah.
They should keep the Tron, just have him not dance anymore.
But after his promo, he went to stage and still did this.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but that's like a power stance right there.
Yeah.
Doesn't you know, once you start throwing the hips into it, then it turns into dancing. There you go. Exactly. So yeah, I don't know. Look, hopefully he got a shit ton of money and some promises that he's going to be featured heavily in their creative. And why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he want to go? You know? So yeah, continue to stay there. Build up the old Daniel Garcia brand. And then in 3 years, you know, maybe he can, I don't know, debut on main roster or something.
He's still young. He's in his 20s still, right?
Probably.
So it's entirely possible if it's like a 3-year deal. As you said, build up the Daniel Garcia brand.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, if he wants to test the waters up in the Fed,
New York,
he can do so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or if he's in a really good spot in AEW and they're going to pay him a ton of money still, he can stick around there.
Yeah, probably not, though. AEW is just developmental, man. I
guess here's the upside, is at least in AEW, he's going to be making main roster money, as opposed to NXT, where he's going to be making like a fraction of that.
Like $60,000 a year.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
Living in that same apartment complex as everybody else in Orlando.
Same one, everybody else. Yeah.
Yeah.
That one pool that they always put on NXT.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's good. Good for him. Glad he's happy. You know, people sometimes they get into the thing that they like and they know, and they're like, okay, I'm going to stay here. And yeah, I think like also, if he was given some assurances, okay, now you're going to get to that next level. We're going to start booking you strong. So don't expect him to take a lot of losses coming up.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to just go ahead and dive into it?
Yeah, we can. And anything that pops up. So it opens up with a Moxley promo. It's another one that's got the ominous music, the drone, not the brown note stuff.
He's at the point where he's just saying the same thing.
He is. Arguably, he was doing that last week in the solo promo.
Yeah.
The one shot like this. I think last week it was Claudio and Pac and Mox.
Right.
It's all this vague. Oh, this is kind of out of my hands, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
I wish it didn't have to be this way, but it is. And just like, all right, let's get it moving.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Drop some Easter eggs. Give us some little teases, more so about what it could be.
Well, it was like this. He's like, hey, Daniel Bryanson, I got news for you. I've been hanging out with Shane O'Mac. Like that?
I mean, that's probably a little too on the nose.
Listen, I've been talking with a guy. His name is Shane M., or should I say S. McMahon.
Again, a little too on the nose.
You think so? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's this guy. He's the son of Vince McMahon I've been hanging out with.
Again,
crazy?
Much too on the nose.
All right. Well, I tried. I don't know. That's why I'm not in there creative, I guess.
Yeah, probably. That's why we're doing the podcast and not in the business, probably. The level of ideas that we got to pitch.
Good Lord, he talked a lot. Yeah, this is a lot.
He did. Last night's Dynamite was really talky. And again, if it's a situation they rewrite the show, maybe they went the route of, all right, we're going to fill 2 hours by having a lot of promos.
Wouldn't it be easier to rewrite the show with matches? It's like when you're,
especially AEW, that's your thing.
It's like if you're a writer, like in comic books, for example, you know, you're sitting there, you're a writer, like, oh man, I'm just gonna do like okay, I'm gonna kill 2 pages with a 2-page spread of just like mass destruction in New York or something like that. And then like the artist gets the fucking 2-page spread. He's like, God, this is gonna take me a week to do this.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was going to make sense because I mean, like there was some good matches on Dynamite last night. Hologram and Commander was awesome.
Oh, that was rad. That
the
was
main
cool.
event was fun. The tag match. I mean, like the matches were good. The 4-way match for the number one contendership of the women's title was really good too. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised it was a situation where they had to do a lot of rewriting of the show. They didn't choose just to fill up time with really good matches. As opposed to a lot of talking. So anyways, this is more of the same for Mox. This is going to be a wake-up call for AEW. This is the real world. Nothing lasts forever. Gosh, is there anything else here?
No. Then we get a Bryan Danielson promo.
Yeah, then it's apparently recorded on somebody's phone because the audio was atrocious.
Okay, yeah, I don't know, dude. I think I want to say that there was some weird cock up with like the in arena audio versus like.
You know what? You're being very kind to them. No, this sounded like phone audio, dude.
You really think so? You think somebody busted out this shit?
Yes. Because the picture quality wasn't as good as.
The picture quality was dog shit.
It was a phone. Yeah. It was a Matt Chat question, dude. It was phone audio.
It was fun, and it was like, here's the thing: it ain't a 16 Pro either. No. Those dudes were rocking a 12
like I got.
You got it. Hey, look, you guys got to get the Filmic Pro or the Blackmagic app. Okay, then it'll unlock everything the camera can do. You don't just open this thing up and then text it via SMS to the production truck.
Yeah, I know. You compress it like hell. It's like you shoot a 180 and then they get a 240p file. It's like Real Player.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just him responding to Claudio had an interview with Sports Illustrated where Claudio said this would be Danielson's last match on Dynamite, and he's like, "No, I've been a supporter of you for 20 years, Claudio, but tonight, no support. I'm going to be kicking your fucking head in."
Yeah, I like that he cursed. After that, we had Darby Allin promo. Calls out Brody King. Brody comes to the ring. He's like, "I'm so excited you answered my challenge to Wrestledream. You could have asked nicely. You didn't have to attack me, but I know what you're doing. Here's the story now. You remember years ago, we were on the indies. We used to stay in those crackhead motels and talk all night about hopefully one day this will all be worth it. Hopefully we can make it to national TV on Manny Chew to ourselves. You're so nervous because you had your first kid on the way. You didn't know your career's going to end up. Years later, I was hired by AEW." Anyways, he goes on and on about how he got Brody a job. And he said because Ring of Honor was going out of business, he said because of AEW, you had your dad retire just like I had my dad retire. He says you bought your family a house because of AEW, but you want my spot, Brody? I'm the face of the company. I was the guy who was never supposed to make it, but because of AEW, I made it. Do you want my spot? Do it. And Brody's like, "Yeah, man, but you know what? You take all that for granted." He says, "We know you have a death wish." He says, "What happens when you go climb Mount Everest? You don't come back. You can die on that mountain." That is grim because that totally happened.
It totally could happen, yeah.
He says, "Your dad has to go get a job again. AEW's left without a face." He says, "You can lie to all these people."
Channel some Billy Idol there, huh?
"Promotion without a face." He says, "You could lie to all these people and say you don't take it for granted, but you do. You need someone to save it for yourself."
I actually kind of like Brody's part of this. I know it's not the media stuff, but there's a good point. Oh, Darby's like, "Oh, I don't take any of this for granted." He's like, "Dude, you're going to leave for 3 months to go climb Mount Everest." Kind of seems like you do a little bit.
Yeah, okay, all right. So Darby's like, "Come on, man, just do it. Put me out of my misery right now, man. Take my spot. I'm right here. Do your thing."
And then The Rock's music hits. The Rock says,
the final boss comes out. He was in Darby's pocket. I'm surprised that like his like pink hoodie wasn't sagging on one side.
I know. I thought that too. Maybe it's not that heavy of a rock. It's not a dense rock. It's like some sandstone or something.
Do you think he really bust Brody open, or is that fakey blood?
Oh, it's probably fake.
Probably, right?
Yeah. Because he bashes. So Brody like goes for the choke, the sleeper. And Darby bashes him with the Rock. It's like the Rock is super huge. It's maybe, I don't know, like the size of like 2 Pop-Tarts put together. Thicker, obviously, but in terms of
fucking
width.
Wild measurement right there, man. That metric.
That's about right. It's about that, right? It's about that large.
Pop-Tarts. Did you have a Pop-Tart today?
No, I didn't have Pop-Tarts in years.
Dude, they're so good.
They are, but man, they're so bad for you.
Dude, it's like 60% of your daily sugar intake.
It's ridiculous. You know, the amount of sugar that I had as a kid,
yeah.
I'm shocked I don't have more health issues.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I used to eat an entire box of Eggos for breakfast in high school. An entire
Eggos
box.
are not that bad when it comes, unless you're dumping a bunch of like syrup on it.
I mean, I put syrup on it, but not an obscene amount.
Yeah, that's where it gets you. The Eggos themselves are basically devoid of nutrition. What's like?
Yeah, I know,
nothing
but that's
bad.
the
There's
thing.
nothing
But
good.
there's sugar in it. There is sugar in it.
It's not that bad. I've looked at them. It's not that bad.
Champ is shocked that I ate a whole box. Yeah, I ate a whole box, 8 of them for breakfast.
Dude, because they're you could rip through those things so quick.
There's not much to them.
There isn't. That's the thing. It's like Rice Krispies.
You know me. I used to have a breakfast bowl about yay large that I'd dump a bunch of cinnamon life or mini wheats into.
You're doing all this forced perspective stuff, man. Like your hand is all up in the shot.
It was a large bowl. I had a large bowl.
How many Pop-Tarts equivalent was that bowl? Since that's the metric system we use now.
You could probably fit 8 Pop-Tarts in there broken in half. It was a large bowl, and I would fill that to the brim with mini wheat.
I'll start using that for my measurement. Yeah.
There you
How
go.
many
That's
Pop-Tart size is it? Long or wide?
That is what in the United Kingdom is stone. They use stone.
Oh, you use stone to measure weight.
So now you use Pop-Tarts for size.
Yeah, size and volume. So anyways, yeah, he drops him with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And the Brody's busted open. So they have a match at Wrestledream. After that, we've got like a trade situation here. Jake Roberts and Lance Archer in an interview. And Renee is like, hey, so what's up with Don Callis trying to recruit Archer? And then Callis steps in. He's like, we've agreed on a talent trade amongst factions. And now Archer is a member of the Callis family. I got big plans for you. And then Archer shakes Jake's hand, follows Callis out. Renee asks Jake, what do you got? What do you have in return? He's like, Renee, do you like surprises? She's like, I like surprises. Oh, I got a big surprise. We find out who that is later.
So then we go to commercial. We come back. Renee's trying to interview Daniel Garcia as he arrives at the arena about his AEW future. And he says, much I'd like to tell you, I think I owe it to everyone else to say what I need to say out there. Mm-hmm. So he has a promo later.
Yeah, then we had this killer Hologram versus Commander match.
Oh, man, this was so good.
God damn, this is fun, dude. This was
so good. Just go and watch it. We can describe the moves, but just go watch it.
I can't even describe half these moves, to be honest.
I know, it was so good. So Hologram wins after the airplane spin torture rack bomb. That's his finisher, I guess.
13 in a row for Hologram.
Yeah.
You gotta love that Tony Khan just created this guy out of thin air. Well, it was Aramis, but like the character he just created, he was like, hey, this
Pushing
is the guy.
The hell out of it.
This is the guy that I wrote, I doodled on a sketch pad back when I was 7 years old, and now he's undefeated.
I know. It's great. So then Jake Roberts walks to the stage, and then LFI hits the ring. They attack Commander and Hologram, and you got Roosh, you got Beast Mortos, and Jalistico doing the fist bump thing in the ring, and then Jake's on the ramp holding his fist up too. So Jake's managing LFI now.
Yeah, I don't care that it doesn't make any sense. It's fucking awesome.
It's great, but yeah, it doesn't make any sense. How many times has Roosh seemingly joined a group and then just left?
Yeah. No.
So I think Don Callis was like, I don't know if he actually officially introduced Roosh, but I know that's the trade, but still, it's like, all right, he's leading his own faction. No, he's joining another faction. He was tagging with Undisputed Kingdom for a bit.
He was, yeah.
And then now he's leading LFI again with Jake Roberts.
Yeah. No, that makes
It's just
sense.
a lot.
It is a lot. Yeah, but it's still pretty badass. And then we're gonna get Hologram versus Beast Mortos. That's gonna be a
2 out of 3 falls too.
Yeah, that's gonna be
a lot of fun.
Fucking match, man.
Beast Mortos is great.
After that, we had a really good Mark Briscoe interview. I like this because it was like a different side of Mark Briscoe. Angry Mark Briscoe, because of course Jericho used his brother's name last week, and Mark was like, Jericho, man, you done messed us up, man. Dang old, this isn't the place you want me to be at, man. That dang old Wrestledream, it ain't even about this. I'm going to hurt you, man. Dang old. So that was cool. And then we had a Daniel Garcia promo. Same music. I love that music. But no dancing Garcia in the Tron.
No psychedelic dancing Garcia.
Yeah, right. So he comes to the ring, says, how you guys doing tonight? feels so good to come out here, to feel your energy. I've been sitting home for a while. I really missed this. I want to thank Tony Khan for letting me come out here and do what I got to do. And basically he just said, I'm going to stay here. We're the best wrestle AEW. And he says, this Daniel Garcia isn't going to be little broed by everyone in the back. This is the Daniel Garcia that AEW builds the future on the back of and who starts changing everything in AEW. And it starts with gold around my waist. No champion safe. I'm coming for all of you. The feeling is back. Larson, he put the champions on notice.
He did.
Put them all on notice, man.
He didn't exactly use that term, though. He said something else.
Well, the implication is there. The insinuation.
But it was essentially, yeah. Putting everybody on notice.
He says, I'm coming for all of you. The feeling is back.
Feeling is back, yeah. He's putting the locker room on notice. So we get a Swerve Strickland video package. He's training. In anticipation of his return, he's going to make an appearance at Wrestledream, they announced. And so you have MVP and Shelton Benjamin watching this video package air and kind of commiserating about it. Oh, all right, well. Mm-hmm.
This guy is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I assume he's going to come back and drop his thing saying, screw you, Hurt Syndicate, and then Lashley's going to show up and
going to attack him. Yeah, I would guess that was probably going to happen.
Make Lashley into a monster, you know? After that, we had a Mercedes Monet interview. And then, let's see here. Monet says, everybody wants to tweet at me and jump on the money train. Just ask Chris Statlander. Emmy Sacker says, I have no respect for her. I've got all the respect for her. She's been wrestling longer than I've been alive. This isn't the first time I've dethroned a queen before. It certainly won't be the last because Monet changes everything. Ooh, dropping a little Charlotte reference there.
Yep.
Oh.
Then we got Daniel Garcia. Everybody backstage congratulating him on signing that fat new contract. Shibata steps up to him and says, I'm happy you're staying in AEW. Wrestledream, the TNT title will be around the waist of the wrestler.
Probably
so
not.
It kind of seemingly was that if Shibata wins, then Garcia gets first crack.
He's going to get the first opportunity at it. I kind of feel like it's going to go a different way, though. I could totally see Garcia being the guy to beat Jack Perry.
Same.
Not Shibata. Do love Shibata, though.
Yeah. Then we had this four-way match that was really, really good. It was Willow taking on Saraya, Nyla Rose, Jamie Hayter. We saw the return of Penelope Ford.
Yeah, that was cool.
So it seemed like she's going to get into a program with Jamie Hayter.
This match was fun. It was all over the place.
That was fun. For a four-way match, it got, there was a table spot and some other stuff. It got a little crazier than you'd imagine. In the end, Willow gets the win. Saraya hits Willow with good night. Willow kicks out. So Saraya and Harley set up a table in the corner. Willow hits Harley Cameron with a Dr. Bomb. Saraya rolls up Willow, gets a tube, and then Willow puts Saraya through the table with a Death Valley driver and then covers both Saraya and Harley. Harley wasn't even in the match to get the win earlier on. Jamie Hayter chased Penelope Ford up the ramp. So then afterwards, Willow goes up the ramp. Mariah May was on commentary. She tries to punch Willow. Willow catches the punch. But then Mariah headbutts her and then starts blasting her with the title.
Yeah, man. Real quick here, man. We've got 394 people watching.
Hi, everybody.
Going to ask you guys to do us a solid. Hit that thumbs up button and leave a comment. I'm not necessarily talking about a chat live, although if you want to do that, that's cool too. But YouTube loves comments. The algorithm loves comments. So we try to feed the algorithm as
What's
many
the word?
as we
What's
can.
the word we got to use for this, Steve?
Engagement.
Engagement.
Right. This is the engagement section. And if you could do that, that'd be awesome. Also, we've got the Friendo Club setup. You might have seen the pre-roll card where you have access to all sorts of great stuff, including the Big Blue Predictions Challenge. The form is going up, I think, probably later on today or tomorrow.
It'll go up later today when our predictions video goes up, yeah.
And you have the ability to win the Big Blue Predictions hat. This says, everybody, I'm a winner.
I want to be a winner. Can I win hat?
You could. You're only a couple points off the lead.
I think I'm 4 off the leader.
There you go. So you could do that. And then, but we also, that's not it though. We also have
there's more.
Some reward tiers. Well, yeah, we got over 700 bonus episodes you could check out as well, spanning like 8 years. You could also check out longer. I think our Patreon. Yeah, our Patreon is 8 years.
2016 that we started the Patreon.
Also, we got the comic book tier where you can get a full color Stephen Larson comic book from I think like 2017, and then you have this old picture. It's like a 5-year-old picture of us. So if you want to know what we looked like 5 years ago. and you want this hanging in your office cubicle and it's autographed by us, you could do that. It's an 8x10. It comes with one of the reward tiers as well. We also, on the Patreon, I haven't put this one up on YouTube yet, but on the Patreon, we got a t-shirt tier. It's this exclusive Friendo Club t-shirt.
Look at that.
Here.
It's very bright and vibrant.
Bunch of weird colors on it. So you can check that out
colors.
as well. Click join right here at youtube.com/Stephen Larson. Go to patreon.com/Steve and Larson. I'm trying to think. Let's see here. Do we have any more patrons from when the last time? No, we don't. What about channel members? Because, dude, I asked Dick Slavitt to show up and read our new channel members.
That's right. I forgot about that.
But maybe that can wait till next week. I don't know. I got to see if we have any new channel members here. We actually did. John and Alistair Voice has been a member now for 10 months. Says, Steve, can you get a comfy comps? Yeah, man, I got some comfy comps right now. It's going to be a long day for us. We got a bunch of stuff to film. So I got my cut off sweatpants shorts here right now. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable too.
You pretty comfy comps right now?
Yeah, a t-shirt, and I have sweatpants shorts that are cut off, but they were made like I bought them that way.
All right. Yeah, you know, we got a couple. I got Dick Slavin on the line. Now this is our Jim Ross celebrity impersonator.
Remember, he's supposed to be on his best behavior too. He's here just to read the names.
Yeah, I don't know what that means though. This dude is a wild card.
It's simple. I thought. Did you have we discussed this? Did you not discuss this with him? That he.
I know. I tried to talk to him about it.
Read the name.
I tried to talk to him about it, but he just went on about gray sweatpants, and I'm like, dude, this is
a week by week thing.
I'm trying to talk
here
about
too. So if he goes off on a tangent here,
yeah,
that's it. That could be done. We're done with it.
Done until next week, right?
No, done.
Yeah, done. Until next week.
No.
All right. Well, let me go. We'll just give him a shot, okay? We'll give him a shot. He's going to read off our channel members
with him in terms of making sure.
And maybe patrons too. I don't know what he's going to do. Let me go ahead and bring him on in here. He's going to zoom in. He's going to zoom in. Oh man, man! What's going on, everybody? This is Jim Ross impersonator Dick Slavitt. The check is cleared. I'm ready to get into it.
What check?
Company check. Company check right here. It says personal checking account and Larson. That's what it says.
Someone impersonating me?
For 3 figures. All right. So let's go ahead.
What?
3 figures. Let's go ahead and dive into it. So what am I doing today? Am I here to tell you am I here to read some Penthouse forum letters?
No, you're here strictly to read the names of our new channel members and new patrons. That's it, nothing else.
Oh boy. All right. Well, we'll do the Penthouse forum letters a little bit later. But first up,
you can do that on your own time.
Listen to this. I love this first name here. Channel member for 18 months, just rejoined 0 days ago. His name is Daniel Rocket, or as I like to call him, Daniel Pocket Rocket. Oh man, what's that in your pants? Is that a rocket? Or you just
move on. Just read
happy
the names,
to see
please.
me?
You just need to read the names.
What's that in your pants? Is it a cock? Wow.
God. Not even.
All right, next up. Alex Reynolds. Can't do much with that name. Alexander. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, just read the name. Move on.
All right, next up. Bipolar rock and roller. Oh man, he just re-upped 0 days ago. Bipolar rock and roller. You know what rhymes with rock? That's right, cock. You got it right. Oh man.
Oh gosh.
Oh, wow.
This is just.
Those are all the ones that just joined
right,
0 days ago.
Dick.
Hold on a second.
No, we're done.
Steve just sent me the list of new patrons too.
No, we're done. That's it.
Pizza Core. Just 2 hours ago, re-up. $5 a month. Oh man. I wonder how many feels that can buy you. $5. And then, oh man, look at this name. James Pegg. There's a joke there about pegs. I ain't gonna go there though. I'm trying to be respectful here. All right, that's gonna do it. I'll be back next week, everybody.
No, you're not. That's it. No more. Never again.
What?
Gave him one chance.
Just that? I was gone for like 3 minutes.
Yeah, he made all sorts of vulgar references. We don't need that.
What are you talking about? What did he do?
I just said what he did.
All I asked him specifically, what did he say?
I'm not going to repeat what he said. You can go and watch the episode.
It was that bad?
Yes.
Oh, boy. Gosh,
Never
darn
again.
it.
Never again.
Listen.
No, there's no negotiating.
I'll have a talk with him.
No negotiating. I said he got one chance and he blew it. It was off. He blew it. It's off. Can we just carry on?
Oh, man, I blew it. I want to blow it. I'd love to blow it.
You're behind this, Steve. I knew you were.
I'm a blew it. I wish I got blue. Oh, boy. I'm in trouble now, everybody. I'm in trouble now. Anyways, where were we? We're talking about AEW.
Learning Tree.
Oh, oh, yeah. Can we please go back to Dick Slavitt?
Well, so they go and confront Rocky Romero.
Rocky Romero.
Newest member of the conglomeration. And they're like, do you just want to be a lackey for the conglomeration? And Rocky says, I'm nobody's lackey. And then Bill says, sometimes when you're in the picture, you can't see the picture.
You're not even on the damn shirt. Brian Keith said that. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, that was.
After that, we had Jay White versus enhancement talent Cody Chun.
Yeah.
And boy, oh boy, that Uranagi was something else.
Yeah.
That dude damn near got hit on Uranagi'd on his head, and then a Blade Runner. It was good stuff. And then Jay White picked up the microphone, and oh man, this guy talked a lot. Anyways, he basically just challenged Hangman for Wrestledream.
Yeah.
Jay White just got back. He's got to win that, right?
You would think so, yeah.
Hangman can take loss after loss and become more interesting.
Yeah, if anything, it could enhance his character if he takes a bunch of L's. So, yeah, you think Jay White has to win this one. I don't think I'm having a lot of confidence points on it, but I think Jay White gets the win. Then we have Hook, and he's backstage. My dad's attacker. Reveal yourself.
I said this during the pre-show. I didn't know this was a way you could catch criminals. You just go out there, you stand around and you say, whoever stole my lawnmower twice, back in my old house 12 years ago, reveal yourself.
Well, here's the thing, Steve. Hook might have been inadvertently successful because Christian, for sure, or Nick Wayne, laid out Taz.
Yeah.
That's clear.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as if the perpetrator of the attack on his dad stepped up and was like, I did it. I'm revealing myself. I attacked your dad. So I don't think if you go and yell out in front of your house, especially your house now, which is not the place where the crimes took place 12 years ago.
Right.
I don't think you'd ever anybody standing up. Yes, I took it.
Somebody did abandon their car, or somebody had their car stolen and was abandoned from my house. I got to call 311 or whatever it is out here to report it because it's been out there forever. And there was a license plate on it, and then all of a sudden that license plate was gone. Yeah, the car is like rapidly. It's like in a space-time bubble. It's just rapidly deteriorating.
Yeah.
So I got to do that. So maybe I can go outside and be like, whoever abandoned or stole this car, reveal yourself.
They're long gone, man.
Probably not going to work.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. So anyways, Kip Sabian runs into Hook. And Hook's like, what are you doing here? What's going on? And Kip's like, I don't know anything. So he runs out. Christian and the patriarchy step in, and Christian asks Hook if he's seen Kip. And Hook says no. And Christian goes, we're both family men and both been through it this week. Kill switch is down with a serious medical issue. So I sympathize with you. I think he said over the loss of your father.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Taz is not passed. He's
no, he got knee replacements.
I saw he did a selfie in the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then they leave. Christian and patriarchy leaves.
Jared here in our YouTube chat has an interesting theory. Hook did it.
Hook laid out his own dad?
Yeah, he took out his own dad.
Hook heel turn?
Mm-hmm. After that, we had a Mariah May interview, but Willow runs in and pounces her. Says, I'll make this short and sweet. Tonight I beat 3 former world champions in a Wrestledream. I'll make Mariah a former champ, and I'll become new AEW Women's World Champion.
Then we had Mercedes Moné versus Emi Sakura. It's a really fun match. Emi's so good.
Oh, man, she's the best.
She's so good.
Yeah.
In the end, though, she taps out to what was the bank statement. I guess it's the statement maker now. I think it's what they call it.
Okay.
She wins. That bit where Emi hits that crossbody against the barricade on Mercedes and Camille. Awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was really cool.
Awesome. Camille helps Monet get the win. So then Mercedes and Camille are about to attack Emi. Statlander's music hits. She's a baby face now for some reason. So then Mercedes pushes Camille in front of her as Statlander's get in the ring. So she leaves. So Camille and Statlander fight a little bit. Eventually, Mercedes does save Camille from attack, and they leave, and Statlander stayed in tall. But yeah, that match hasn't been made official yet for Wrestledream.
You know, man, I feel like Stat could have been like the same character she was, because people like her even as a bad guy. But
You
it's
could
like
have told the story of Stat getting this match with Mercedes and her partnership with Stokely falling apart in the process. You could tell the story of them parting ways, Stoke and Stat, but they just decided not to do that for some reason.
Yeah. After that, we had a private party interview, and Stokely is there. And he's like, every time you get an opportunity, you knock it out of the park. That's what all three of us have in common, because at All Out, I proved I could take down the most lovable person in AEW. So if I can do that, imagine what I'm capable of. You two have all the tools. You're just missing one thing, and that thing is this. So this Saturday, private party, Big Stoke. What do you say? Mark Quinn responds. He says, where were you the last 5 years? Now you want to hop on the bandwagon? Thanks, but no thanks. We don't need you. And Stoke's like, I don't think that's the right move for your careers. And then Cassidy's like, actually, it's a perfect move. We're doing it by ourselves for the first time in 5 years. We're on our own. We have an opportunity like this. We're on pay-per-view and have a tag title match. We don't want this. We need this. We're desperate for the titles. Young Bucks, you guys got complacent, but allow us to put that chip back on your shoulder. We're going to beat you and take your spot. We'll be the next tag champions. And after that, it'll be a party that everyone is invited to.
I've really been appreciating that they've been giving Private Party more mic time, and I think they've been doing a really good job with it.
I agree with that 100%.
So hopefully that continues after they lose to the Young Bucks on Saturday. I certainly hope so. Then we got a pretty long Will Ospreay interview. So he comes to the ring. He calls out Don Callis. He's upset about how the match went down last week, him and Ricochet. And he's pretty sure that Callis ordered Takeshi to come attack him. So cue the Brown Note theme. Don Callis makes his entrance. And he tries to kind of butter up Ospreay, be like, oh, look at all the success we've had in the past. You beat Omega. You beat Jericho because of me. And Will says, I don't care about the past. I want to talk about last week. Did you send Takeshi out to attack me? So Don tries to deflect. Ospreay presses him. They go back and forth, and then Don finally blabbers out, yes, I sent him. Realizes he probably didn't mean to say that, and he says, I sent him out of frustration because you wouldn't listen. I tried to give you advice. We were this close to win the tag titles, but you dropped the ball because you're mentally weak. You're too mentally weak to do what needed to be done. We could have had those belts. And Will says, you're having a laugh, aren't you? I brought you the international title, bruv. If you hadn't stuck your nose in my business at Forbidden Door, I would have brought you the world title as well, but you always get involved in other people's business. Let me tell you, the best wrestler of the world, you don't know shit, bruv. And Don says, best wrestler in the world? I had the best wrestler in the world, and I threw him in the garbage for you. So maybe, like I did before, maybe I got to throw the best wrestler in the world in the garbage one more time. And Will says, everything everybody warned me about with you is true. You're scum. We're done, even though I thought they were done like months ago. So then Callis slaps Ospreay. Ospreay very dramatically drops the international title, pushes Don to the corner, and then tosses him halfway across the ring. Takeshi slides in. He starts fighting with Ospreay. Kyle Fletcher gets in there to separate him. He and Will start arguing a little bit. And then Takeshi wrecks Ospreay with this humongous German suplex.
Yeah, that was a cool German suplex.
So then Callis offers Fletcher the screwdriver and tells him to use it on Ospreay. And then he physically places it in Fletcher's hand because Fletcher won't take it. But Fletcher can't bring himself to use it. Instead, quarters Don with the screwdriver. So Takeshi goes there and tries to calm everybody down. Fletcher just ends up leaving. Ospreay gets to his feet. He and Takeshi trade some strikes. Eventually, Callis pulls Ospreay off by his hair. And Takeshi hits Ospreay with a massive forearm. So Takeshi picks up the international title. Ricochet runs the ring, takes him out, looking for an axe kick on Takeshi, but he escapes. So then Ricochet picks up the title and hands it to Ospreay.
Yep.
Looks like Ospreay is retaining on Saturday.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah, probably. Takeshi needs a title, but he's got to beat somebody straight up one-on-one. I kind of feel like this is more to protect Takeshi than it is.
Yeah, probably.
But, yeah.
We got some problems here in Top Flight, Steve.
Yeah, man. Action Andrade. Yeah, he's talking up too much.
An issue.
He's being an issue. So Darius is like, people keep asking us how we feel after losing the number one contendership match. We're pissed off. We know we're better than those other two teams. We should be the ones wrestling the Young Bucks for the tag titles. Dante's like, yeah, we've beaten the Bucks. No reason we shouldn't have that match at Wrestledream. And Action Andrade says, no reason. There's a reason you're not wrestling the Bucks this Saturday. And Layla interrupts. She's like, look, right now, you're the problem. You're the one messing everything up. It's your fault. What you did last week screwed us. And he's like, you guys don't get it, man. And then he leaves. Good stuff. Everybody's showing a little bit of personality there. And then we had a Jack Perry promo. And he's like, you can say a lot about Shibata. He's a legend. He's the embodiment of fighting spirit. Oh, man. He's got a damn turkey leg in his trunks. Was that a good Dick Slavitt right there? I think I did a pretty good Dick Slavitt.
He sounded just exactly like him.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You the whole time.
Legendary celebrity impersonator. He says, but are you still one of the best? These days you let your phone do all the talking, but I want to have a conversation in language you really speak. Violence. So they're going to fight at Wrestledream.
Yeah.
And then we had the main event. Danielson and Wheeler Yuta versus Cloudy and Pac. Danielson and Wheeler Yuta got the win here, and then there was a bunch of brawly stuff. Let me ask you this.
Sure.
Do you think after what we saw, Wheeler Yuta got beaten into submission by the Blackpool Combat Club, whatever they're calling themselves now, so that he will turn on Danielson at Wrestledream? Is this going to be the end for Danielson?
I don't know if Wheeler turning is going to be necessary if the grand plan is revealed who is actually in charge of everything, unless it is Wheeler Yuta. That'd be weird.
Oh, that'd be sick.
In which case, then yes, we'll have a Wheeler Yuta turn. But I don't know if it's necessary if, like, Shane McMahon comes out. I know Meltzer was saying Shane's not involved, but let's wait and see how things play out Saturday. Whoever is behind all this reveals themselves. Maybe that's what Danielson should do. Come to the ring. Whoever's behind all this with Mox and stuff, reveal yourself.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Because like
take the hook approach.
Yeah. Reveal yourself.
Anyways, if all that happens, Wheeler turning heel is going to be a mere footnote to everything else. I think it's kind of unnecessary. Not to say it won't happen, but this seems unnecessary if there's some huge story beat happening.
How about this? Okay, listen. What about this? So Heather here in YouTube chat mentions Wheeler's going to turn because Danielson left him for dead while Brian acknowledged the crowd, right? Because that totally happened too. And so Wheeler turns on Danielson. And then you hear the old text message sound.
Anonymous Raw GM.
Mox goes over to a laptop that's sitting there and says, hey, the new higher power here says, good job, Wheeler. You're back with the family. Good job. And that's what they do ad nauseum for the next 9 months is Mox is now taking orders from the laptop.
But then who's the anonymous Raw GM, Steve?
Mr. Kennedy, Hornswoggle, Kevin Nash.
Swoggle, yeah.
Kevin Nash, I think, was supposed to be the anonymous Raw GM
I think so, at one point.
Dan Lambert, yeah.
Ugh. So, yeah, Pac taps out to the LaBelle lock, and then, everybody else beats the hell out of Yuta.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Eventually, while Mox and Brian are brawling backstage, eventually come back to the ring. And the show ends with Danielson leading the crowd with a yes chant while Wheeler's there, probably trying not to do an Invader 3 thing where he's vomiting up blood.
Yeah. All right, man. What did you think of NXT from a little tiny venue in St. Louis?
I thought the venue looked pretty cool.
I thought the venue looked fucking awesome, and they need to be touring these smaller venues with hot crowds.
That's what we've been saying.
I'm kind of curious to see how they're gonna dude up the Performance Center, if it's gonna be more like Full Sail was back in the past. But I thought this looked awesome. It had a great energy to it. Mm-hmm. And as I predicted and then waffled back on when you made a really good point, Obafemi dropped that North American title.
That was very surprising.
Hey, Tony D is the new North American champion. Ow.
I just didn't see it. I didn't see Tony D as being the one to beat Obafemi. But
I thought you had a great idea with like his family's like, what the hell? You're a mob boss and you're afraid
you're
of
afraid?
A dude?
You're a coward. Yeah. We're not gonna. You're not gonna be a Don of NXT if you're a coward.
And then like you have Stacks elevate himself from underboss to boss.
Yeah.
But no, the family was totally behind him, and he used like a sunset flip counter from a choke slam into a pin, and he got the win over Obafemi. I don't know how I feel about it, man. Well, no, I kind of do. Not great, but I know he's got a lot of fans out there, and I'm probably in the minority on this one.
I mean, it was a good match. The crowd was super into it.
Yeah, this is a really good match.
They managed to make the moment. But that being said,
it made Oba look kind of dumb.
Yeah.
It made him look less than, you know?
Yeah. Now, I guess the idea is similar to how Gunther lost to Sami Zayn because of his own hubris, the same thing with Oba. Because leading into this, he was convinced that he had broken Tony.
Mm-hmm.
And he thought it was going to be like a walk in the park, this match. Oba did. And he took Tony lightly. And maybe it's a wins and learns situation for Obafemi. You know,
you think he's going to get this thing back like next week?
Oh, I don't know about getting it back, but just a situation where, all right, much like Gunther, I was done in by hubris. Now I need to refocus and dominate like I know I can.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I do. Gunther got beat though, and I know, yeah, because of his hubris. I get it. But Sami Zayn
decisively, yes, I know.
Beat
It's
him.
Haluva kick, yes, not a
Rocky,
opportunistic roll up. Yeah,
they're doing the Rocky thing. Doing the Rocky thing, and Rocky beat Clubber Lang the second time. The Rocky 3 thing specifically. I'm afraid, okay? You know, that stuff. Tony D just completely mimicked it. And so he goes in there and he uses like a counter pin combination thing to beat him as opposed to
hit his finish or make him tap out. Yeah, I get your point.
Yeah, like he's got to give everything he has, kick out of everything and just give it everything he has, and then beats him straight up. Maggie says, I feel like it was protected. And I think that's what they're going for. I think that's absolutely what they're going for. He got caught on a pin roll up. But you get the idea that when a rematch happens, if a rematch does happen, instead of Oba just moving up to the next level, if a rematch happens, Oba should squash this bug.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know, unless it happens where they do a rematch and Tony D actually beats him like with, 3 of his finishers and actually beats the guy, then it sort of makes his North American Championship run, or at least the beginning of it, kind of like, you're on shaky ground, pal.
No, I hear you. I don't know. I don't know. I guess it depends on what the follow through is going to be. Is Oba going to say, all right, did that like Gunther did? Oba is now the longest reigning North American champion in NXT history, much like Gunther was the Intercontinental title. And he's going to have, for all we know, in 2 weeks, NXT is going to announce some sort of tournament to determine the number one contender for the Trick Williams NXT title. Oba is going to win that in dominant fashion and win the championship beginning of next year or something like that.
I got it. How about this?
Sure.
Next week they announce the breakout tournament's back. Oba's like, man, this is how I rose to prominence through the breakout tournament. But I've already broken out, so I'm not eligible. But Masked Superstar is, so he gets an Obafemi mask. And he enters it as Masked Superstar.
But the thing is, he comes out like to the same, not to the same music.
Everything the same.
He still does his strut when he goes out there. Wrestles the same, all the same moves, super dominant. Everybody's like, "This is just Obafemi."
It's just Obafemi.
It's just Obafemi's clearly, and Ava confronts him. He's like, "Nope, not me."
He's not me. It's a fake accent, dude. It's a fake accent. I've seen the guy talk. I can mimic a fake accent. Jared Dyer says, Oba Oscuro.
What else happened? That was kind of like the major thing. Javon Evans and Randy Orton had a really good match. I know that was made about the finish. The margin, to get the finish right, the tornado into the RKO.
Whatever the fuck that is. Yeah, no, I get you.
That is so small.
Oh, dude, come on. Yeah, you know what, man?
It's so tiny.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This Javon Evans is awesome. And if they pulled it off, it'd have been spot of the year. And they didn't. But it was obviously an incredibly ambitious thing to try to pull off. And yeah, I don't know. It's funny because like he was apologizing. I don't know that like what is he supposed? I think it's supposed to be a timing thing with Randy.
Yeah.
Like let me measure this out. I don't know what more he could have done. But you know they just recovered. He just gets him up, gives him and he sold the hell out of the actual RKO when he hit it. Javon Evans is so fucking good. This guy is going to be so huge. That crowd absolutely loves him. He comes off as one of the most genuine, joyful, awesome dudes that they've got.
Yep.
I love this guy. I think he's great, and I think he's going to do wonderful things. And this is obviously they think the same thing because he got the Randy Orton spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, he's great.
Exactly. They established a triple threat match at the end of the show to determine Trick Williams' next challenger. So we're going to have Ethan Page,
Ego,
Wesley, and based on his performance in the main event, Javon Evans in a triple threat match next week, I believe.
Yeah.
Winner of that will face Trick.
Yeah.
For the NXT title.
Yeah. Yeah. That's going to be a hell of a match. Who do you see coming out of that?
Probably Wesley.
I would think Wesley.
Yeah.
Do you think is your hesitation on that? It might be too early for him because he's really starting to pick up some good steam with his character.
The issue could be that he's starting to pick up steam as a heel. You know, I'm taking an L this soon, maybe, but I don't know. Maybe Trey Miguel shows up and costs the match. I don't know.
I think he can just straight up take the lot. It's going to be if it's Wesley, it's going to be a good match because that guy is a top tier wrestler. Yeah, I think that probably makes the most sense. You can spin off into an Ethan Page, Javon Evans thing, for Ethan Page to do something and for Javon Evans to do something as well with the former champion. And yeah, Wesley, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like they need to, I'm not going to say they need to because they got such a great crew right now and you probably want to keep this loaded up for the CW. Cause I was going to suggest that, yeah, Wesley at some point they just got to send him a main roster because he's so good and he's been around. I know he took that long time off to you know fix his neck or whatever it was.
Back.
His belt was back, yeah. But he's so damn good, and I want to see him on main roster.
Yeah, no, same. And we had the official NXT debut of Stephanie Vacour last night.
Yeah, coming to the aid of Julia. That was awesome.
Helping Julia out against Roxanne and Cora. So step one, tag match. But they both, Stephanie and Julia, both picked up that title. So the path has got to be, whether it's triple threat, four-way, whatever, it's got to lead to that. And then either Stephanie or Julia is probably going to be the one to win.
The team of Roxanne and Cora Jade, their little interactions are so good. They really are. They've got great chemistry. Yeah, they're going to be a lot of fun to watch.
They are. They really
are. So we'll just sort of, I know, people have been waiting for the NXT review. Are going to be like, what? Why do you do this? But we're going to speed run this a little bit. Trick Williams comes out for a promo. Wesley is around. He's up on the
mezzanine.
The mezzanine. Thank you. Yeah. Great name. He says, I know there's a lot Trick says, I know there's a lot of sharks in the locker room with their eyes on Trick Willie. And then Wesley's there on the mezzanine, says, I can focus on becoming a Triple Crown champ, winning the NXT title. And then, let's see here, Jey Uso. Yay!
Yeah, you know why he was really there? He just showed up.
Oh, because everybody loves him.
That's why. I know that. But in terms of purpose of advancing and getting stories on the show, he was just there.
They should have advertised it. They should have been like, hey. I mean, I know it was like getting around social media that he was going to be there, but I don't know if he had like a proper graphic like, hey, this week, Jey Uso. Then the ratings skyrocket. About 30 minutes away, I think, from finding out what those ratings are going to look like. Week 2 on the CW. So anyways, they do. There's people just like it. They start doing whoop that trick and yeet chants left and right. So it was what it was.
Yeah.
After that, this was a ton of fun. Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Kalani Jordan versus Fatal Influence. Boy, oh boy, this is a lot of fun. They all had matching gear. Kalani, Jade, and Bianca. They look like $1 million.
Yep.
Bianca and Jade end up hitting their finish on Jasmine Mix. Yeah.
Yep.
And then Kalani got tagged in, hit a split leg moonsault to get the win there. They all stood tall. And then we get a little bit more of them a little bit later. But yeah, that was really good stuff.
It was. Then we got Fraxium backstage. They're talking, getting ready for their tag match. And then Randy Orton's just sitting in a chair nearby, getting ready for the main event. And so he asks him how fast Javon Evans is, and Axiom says we might be the fastest dude in NXT. And Fraser's like, I'm right here. I'm the fastest. Apologizes to Randy for having a hot head, and Orton says, nothing wrong with it. Sometimes we all need to find our dark place. And Fraser gets the validation from the Viper. Says, Orton says it's a good thing, so I'm taking it and I'm running with it. After that, Julia interview. So Sarah's asking her about the loss last week. She's about to answer, but there's a knock at the door. So Julia looks off camera and says, oh, hello, my old friend. And then she turns back to Sarah and says, we've got this.
Mm-hmm. Then we had a Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade promo. First is Roxanne. Basically talks shit to her haters. Says, you know what? Y'all love your new favorite toy, but I stood tall with this title. She says, but I don't have to. She says, I'll still be here drinking all the tears of the new flavor of the month. I don't have to drink alone anymore because I got an old buddy. And then that's Cora Jade. She starts talking. She's like, last 9 months, I've had to sit at home and listen to everyone say this was the deepest division in the history of NXT. But no one was talking about me, and that made me mad. I'll make sure when I came back, everybody paid for forgetting about me. She says, the woman you're looking at now is the woman who's going to make NXT. This is the version of Roxanne I already knew she could be, so our friendship is finally being mended, and that's bad for the deepest division in NXT. And then Roxanne starts talking, but she's interrupted by Julia. She walks down the ramp. Cora's like, hey, come on in the ring. Instead, Stephanie Vaquer makes her entrance. They rush to the ring, big brawl. And like you said, they both pick up the NXT women's title, so it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out.
Exactly. So then we had the NQCC backstage, and Ren's talking about how she wants to show Stephanie Vaquer what NXT is all about. Charlie Dempsey says, great idea. They start walking, stop by Lexis King, who's still upset about his loss to Oro Mensah. So he's looking for a match where neither of them could cheat.
Yeah, didn't he have like an iPad or something, like with the match on it?
Yeah. So Dempsey, I can't remember the name, mentions essentially a round-style match. And King's like, nah, I can't do rounds. And Dempsey says, well, it's like a gentleman's battle. And King's like, tell me more.
Well, he says, gentleman's duel.
Yes, duel.
So he needs to make sure this doesn't end up in a Barry Lyndon type situation.
Exactly.
Barry Lyndon rounds match.
So I'm just excited to see Alexis King in the orbit of the Heritage Cup, because we shot something for Friendo Club yesterday. And while the NXT stuff didn't necessarily make it in there, I call Alexis King as your next Heritage Cup champion. I want to see it come to fruition.
I think you might. Yeah, I think it's a possibility. That's a possibility. Boy, how the mighty will have fallen if that happens. Speaking of the mighty fallen, Tony D'Angelo then beat Obafemi for the North American Championship with a sunset flip roll up. But yeah, like you said, really great match. Really great match.
Yeah, it was really good. The crowd was super into it. There's some really good spots. Storytelling was on point. It was a really fun match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then last week we have a video of Lola and Jada brawling in the locker room after their match. And so fast forward to this week, Lola's in Ava's office and saying, I want Jada in a match. And Ava says, well, she wants you in a match too. I'll take care of it. Then Nikita Lyons walks in. Talk about how she's grateful to be back. Says her and Ava needs to have a talk. And Lola says, well, you just got cleared. Don't make me put you back on the shelf. So Ava says, I was about to talk to Nikita about who her first opponent is going to be. Looks like I found her. You and Nikita next week.
Yeah, how do you see that one going down?
Jada's probably going to cost Lola Vice that match.
Probably.
So then we got Kalani Jordan, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill. They're walking backstage. Kalani thanks them for having her back. She says, fatal influence isn't done with me. I know this, but I got it from here. So she moves on. Bianca and Jade keep walking and step up to Lash legend Jakara Jackson. So they say they want a title opportunity. And Jade says, we don't say no to a challenge. And Bianca says, come to SmackDown. We'll have the match. So I think by the end of the show it was booked.
Yeah,
That's super cool.
Lash and Jakar are both like, wait, what? We can what? Really? SmackDown? Yeah. That's cool.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, like what? We're getting our call up. That's cool. After that, we had A-Town Down Under versus Fraxium. This was fun stuff. Let's see here. So yeah, at one point they're still doing the tease with Waller and Theory. Waller almost clotheslines Theory. A bunch of stuff happens, and then Frazier hits a Phoenix Splash on Waller for the win after Axiom hits him with a Super Spanish Fly. Good match.
Yeah.
You know, the split of Fraxium and the split of A-Town Down Under continue.
Perhaps. So next we had a Rich Holland interview. Why was he doing Stone Cold's mannerism?
He was totally doing Stone Cold Steve Austin. Listen up, Riley, you dumb son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Why are you getting on my nuts?
Yeah.
Take your mealy mouth, you little beady red eyes.
It's pretty funny.
Get him out of my business.
Yeah.
What?
The head wobble he was doing.
Pardon?
1,000% Stone Cold.
He was leaning into it with like I've been watching some 1997 Raw.
Yeah. You sound like Nigel there. So Rich Holland says, I'm going to ruin Chase U because they ruined me with their mediocrity. And then Riley Osborne attacks him. They brawl him. The rest security break him up.
Give Rich Holland a stunner, man.
What?
Pardon?
Yeah.
Then we had a Sexy Red performance interrupted by Ego. He said, concert canceled. That's what you get for interrupting Ego, especially on Raw. So I haven't been champ for 1 week and this place is falling apart. And he says, I should be wrestling Randy Orton for my NXT title. And he says, this ring is mine until I get the rematch. And then Javon Evans' music hits. He comes to the ring. Paige is like, I don't care that you're wrestling. Orton takes a swing at him. Evans fights him off. And then he dances with Sexy Red.
Yep. We had a Delta video package. These video packages they've gotten for Delta are pretty good.
These are really nicely produced.
Yes, they are nicely produced. Some good stuff. And then we got Javon Evans versus Randall Keith Orton. Orton gets the win here. We talked about the finish.
Mm-hmm.
Really good match. Mm-hmm. Evans tried for that springboard cutter a couple times, finally hits it after countering Randy's first attempt at RKO with a super kick. That's when he looks at the tornillo. The RKO spot there didn't go as planned, but then Randy just rolled with it, picked him up, hit another one. And you could tell that Javon after the match, when he's getting up, was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." He's like apologizing for the finish not going as planned. I think Orton says, "It's all right. You're the fucking man."
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
So, I mean, again, it's one of those things that's not anybody's fault. That's a tough move. That's a tough move to hit in that circumstance. So,
yeah, I would imagine so. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, and at the end, that's when Ava announces that triple threat match next week. Winner takes on Trick Williams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's your NXT recap.
That is your NXT. So I'm looking at the Patreon. There's no question thread over here.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Oh no.
Is there one on the YouTube?
No, I don't think I put it up anywhere. I got my hair cut today.
Oh, how's it look? Take the hat off.
I don't want to take that because I got fresh haircut hat. You can check the sides. You know,
well, I mean,
I'll take it off. It's right
there
here.
You go.
It's just the same
it's poofy
on top.
like Phil's.
I know. It's right here. I got hat head right now. You put me on the spot, but I'll do that. There you go.
Look at that.
Well, because Halloween's coming up, so I'm going to be Cena. So I got to have this all fresh.
Going to that well again, huh?
What the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah, I'm going to that well again.
Well, I guess I get my Macho Man costume out of mothballs.
Well, I'm going to get a different, I'm going to get like a different, I'm going to order a different Cena shirt and hat with it.
What happened to the days where you're the SmackDown hacker? That was creative. That was good.
Buddy, I'm like closer to 50 than I am 40 these days. All right. As are you. You know, I want to be comfortable. Number one.
I'm
right now,
giving you
so
a
put
hard
some
time.
gel in it. I'm going to put gel in it under my hat.
Giving you a hard time, Steve.
I know. I love it. So yeah. Wow. No questions. Do you have any questions for me, Larson?
I asked, and
You
I
asked
said
my question.
piece.
Have you thought about your Halloween costume this year?
Oh, I'll start thinking about that on the 21st.
Okay. Have you been to Spirit yet this year?
No, I don't usually make it an annual thing to go to Spirit unless I
Alabama
absolutely need
loves Spirit. She loves Spirit. She got this giant pair, like this huge, enormous pair of like fake plastic horror scissors. They're like spattered with blood and have some.
to. Oh,
weird...
it's like that scene in Lebowski where Peter Stormare is doing it, huh? Carl Hungus.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. Heather says pretty soon Steve's gonna have a whole scene of wardrobe. I know. Yeah. I got the.
Hey, you have that metal vest. Why don't you be James Hetfield?
I guess he's got short hair now.
He does, and he provided some wrestling themes. So
Look, it's Cena when he had the. I could be going into the service, Steve, or Cena when he had the camo hat.
Yeah,
But it's a CM Punk hat.
yeah. Well, I mean,
I'm
he's
going
friends
into
with
the.
Phil.
Is there a branch of the military that's CM Punk branded?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah. Okay. God, yeah. With this cut right here, I look like I'm. They're like, wait a second, you're joining the force? Yeah.
You do look like you're
How-
going to boot camp.
Like, how old are you? Closer to 50 than I am 40.
Yeah, you're not going to make it through boot camp.
I would not make it through boot camp.
I don't know, man. We keep playing full court 21. You might have a chance.
Well, okay, depending on the branch. Army, no. Marines, God, no. Air
Yeah,
Force,
probably not the Marines,
Air Force is only 6 weeks.
but the Coast Guard.
Coast Guard, well, do they do water? Like as part of
Yeah,
their
you gotta
basic?
be on a boat.
No, as part of their basic.
Oh, I don't know about that.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, do they make you swim a lot?
You're going to be near water? You're on the coast?
Not just near water, in it.
No, Coast Guard, they're on the coast. They guard the coast. You don't have to get in the water. That's Navy.
Yeah, but that's in the water. That's
no,
not
that's
near
Navy.
the water.
They're like, oh, whoa. This border right here is Navy jurisdiction.
But no, you said near water. Near water is like on the beach. They're in water.
Who?
Coast Guard, the boats are in the water.
No, they're just on the coast.
Oh, you're ridiculous. You don't know anything about any of that.
You're right. I don't. Clearly, I don't. Nah, man. My friggin' Eric. Remember Eric? Eric Scow.
Yeah,
He
I
was
remember
Coast Guard. Now, I remember I saw
right.
him on boats. I saw
Yeah,
him
he was
on
on
boats.
boats.
He was on
Gotta
boats.
be on boats. Coast Guard. If you're in the Coast Guard, you're on boats.
They guard the coast. They guard
do.
the coast. So you got to be in front of the coast, which means you're in the water.
Water.
That's right. Anyways, that's going to do it for the show today. Thanks, everybody. I can't, like, do you want this hat, dude? I love CM Punk, but, like, I can't. People are going to be walking around like, what is this guy in the middle? Like,
No,
I
that's
don't,
what you do. It's like towards the tail end of or like right when you need another haircut, that
Yeah.
week or two before you go get it, that's when you could wear the hat.
yeah.
Because then it's long enough.
I don't know. It's a good looking hat, though.
Because the issue is,
Can we
like,
trade?
usually,
Can I get the Savage hat that's behind you?
I
can
guess
we
we
trade?
can talk about that. But I need to cut my hair too.
Yeah.
So when I cut my hair, it's gonna be super short. So it's gonna be the same thing with me. Although I have the beard, I don't think you can have a beard.
You look like an admiral.
I have a beard. I don't think you can have a beard in the military. At least
Isn't it
in
crazy?
boot
There's like
camp.
dudes your age that are like admirals,
Yeah, no.
and like we're just a couple of wrestling podcasters.
Yeah. Hey, we're successful in our own.
I know we are, man. Well, Chartable, you know, we're up there.
We're doing great.
Yeah, man, we're doing great. We're doing great, everybody. Anyways, that's going to do it for the show today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. See, we don't need to do questions anymore, man. We just
Ramble about whatever nonsense comes in our heads.
bantering nonsense.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Anyways, that's going to do it for the show today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in over at Friendo Club. Later on today, our Wrestledream predictions. Also, right now, we've got our video on who is going to dethrone whom in the WWE. That's the video that we cut the NXT stuff out of simply because I did not expect Obafemi to actually lose last night. So it was like immediately
instantly dated. Yes.
It was instantly dated. So that's going to do it. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button, that like button, and leave a comment. Till next time, we'll talk to you guys later.